That's not to forget that the prophets win. Welcome.
Shalom Aleichem. He's the Father, I'm the Son. Are you the Holy Ghost?
This is the case.
There are many Jews and Gentiles around the world who want to see the burial place. Welcome back to Parsha Inspired. I'm your host, Aaron Sokol, and do we have an episode today? We're going to be diving into the cave of possibly the last three prophets who lived in Israel, and we're going to talk about their significance and what message they came to say. But first, we're going to take a trip to the Western Wall, and we're going to see some updates of what's happening over there. Have a look. The three prophets who supposedly are buried in the tomb of the prophets that we'll be seeing in a minute, came to do three different prophecies. Their prophecies were, one, that we can go up and give korbanos on Har HaBayis, even though we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. That was one nevuah. Nevuah number two was that we don't have to have the Parah Aduma, and that we could just go up, even though we're impure, onto the Temple Mount. The third prophecy they came to say was that we should build the Beis HaMikdash, and we should not wait for Mashiach to build the Beis HaMikdash. Those were the three prophets. Jeremiah, I'm Aaron.
Welcome, Masters. So those are the tombs, okay? And which tomb is for who? We have a tradition. Tradition comes from Middle Ages. They associate the names of tomb of prophets to this location. The tradition specifies prophets Haggai and Malachi.
Okay.
But, well, we cherish the tradition, but unfortunately, I also have to mention it's not supported by evidence. And some people come, Israeli local researchers, archaeologists, would have some different version of the story. They say the place is not as old as the prophets, for example, or the caves are older than the rest, and then or the tombs were used in Byzantine time. But different versions of the same for the same place.
So let me give you just a little brief historical background. In 1882, there was a person whose name was Antonian Kapustin, and he worked for the Russian Orthodox Church, and he purchased the land with the intention of building a church at the site. And this aroused strong protest of the Jews who visited this site and davened and prayed at the site. Now, the Ottoman courts in 1890 ruled that the transaction was binding, but the Russians agreed not to display any Christian symbols or icons at the site, which was to remain accessible for people of all faiths. So here you have an example of the Russian Orthodox Church owning this site and following the Ottoman Empire's decision that they should open this site to all places of worship. Something to keep in mind. Let's go back to the video. What's the least amount of age that people agree on this?
And lots of different opinions, but let's say, generally speaking, they say the caves from end of the Second Temple.
Okay.
And then the tombs from Byzantine time.
Okay.
But of course, things could be older.
Uh-huh.
The tombs are empty, and bones are transferred, and places change names. The tradition continues. The thing is that tradition comes from Middle Ages, doesn't start in the early centuries. However, it's still an ancient, unique place, holy, part of the Holy Land, holy for Jewish people, holy for Christian people.
And it's inside the earth of the land.
Exactly.
You're right.
I mean, if you're looking, specifically this prophet is buried here, his bones are here, no, we don't have this.
Right.
But it's an ancient holy place associated with prophets Haggai and Malachi. are the tombs? Okay. Individual tombs. And then people say, oh, where do you come with this information that's Byzantine or 4th century? Archaeologists give us this information about the language written here, the remains of.
That's Greek?
That's Greek from 4th, 5th century.
What does it say?
It says no one is immortal.
So,
Cheer up. And then here's some Hebrew. Hebrew.
yes, Ayin Kuf.
But I don't,
Maybe
know from,
Yaakov.
I don't know from what
Let me see
time.
what this.
Black Sea engraved. And anyway, if you look at the articles, you could see references to this writing. That's why I'm showing them to you.
On the top.
Also, this is the same way. Here is it's written. Here is buried.
What does that
And
say?
Sadekiti. Here is buried. Like, so, and Sadekiti. Here lies. And then name of people. This is an ancient cave. They say family cave because it has 5 tombs inside. Some of them are small, some are big. And say perhaps it's a family.
Okay.
So we're underground. We're in a cave on Mount of Olives. I'm an Orthodox Jew with my parents, and I'm with the Russian Orthodox
Here's the entrance.
Jeremiah, who's with me, showing me his place. This is all pretty crazy. Enjoy the show. There's a lot more coming. Thank you for watching.
You would place the prophets in the central caves.
Right.
Not because the names are written or anything, but out of honor,
Yes, yes.
right?
Yes, the king sits on the inside, right?
Yeah, exactly. But also they say that and that upper cave perhaps is older even than the central ones. So in the caves.
Okay.
That's not to forget that the prophets, when they lived, they were poor people. They didn't have much money to have special caves to be buried. Not like kings. Now we honor them. We give them the central place. But when they lived, they were poor. So they probably were buried in simple places. That's one too. And that's another too. Different stuff. Which is unique in this conference. Bedrooms.
How far down is that go?
It's very small, it doesn't go far. It's like there is a small part here and there is no much to discover under.
Okay.
Definitely numbers
What's
over here.
this?
It's for candles. People place
Oh,
candles.
same.
It's kind of for candles. And then anti-tomb. Some people, for example, say, "Oh, that's not a very Jewish style."
Well, actually, I'll show you why I think it is Jewish. Because you see there's a ledge over here on both sides. So they would put the person there. And the way they bury today is they put wooden plats on top or bricks on top of it. Then they put dirt on top of that so that the body is buried without a coffin. But there's slabs on top of it, which need to be held up by these two sides.
But do they usually put more than one person in it?
It could be. It could be. This could be one person buried there and then one person buried on top of them. And these slabs would
Exactly,
hold
yeah,
the
that's-
bricks that were on top.
Exactly.
So that definitely looks like a double.
Into different opinions. I'm not an expert myself. I read the experts' reports and I listen to people who have experience and they share the knowledge. I'm not an authority. As I
Right.
said, the place is open, and then people also can say what they think and find new findings or new opinions. Everyone is welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I learn from you. And other small curves, small semicircular, but no tombs inside here.
You see, the Talmud tells us that these three kings came during the time of the second temple just by the time when Ezra came, and that he wanted, and each one of them came to tell them that they could bring offerings on the Temple Mount, even though there is no temple. The second prophecy was that they did not have to have a para aduma, a red heifer, for ritual purification of the impurities of the dead in order to offer the sacrificial lamb of Passover. And the third prophecy was that they should build the second temple. And at that time, 42,360 Jews moved over, and over a 20-year process, they began building the second temple. And this was the time of these prophets. Thank you very much.
Welcome. I hope you enjoyed it.
I definitely enjoyed it, and God bless you. Thank you for watching over this holy site.